Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Roy, accompanied by the one, the only, the Dominican bad man, Sergio, aka the floor price guy. We're Combat Sport Guys, coming back to you with another, the first of 2025 UFC Fight Night full card breakdown, picks, prediction, analysis, and opinions. We're on a little break. How have you been, my man? The people have missed you. I missed you. What's up?
I miss you too, brother. We're back. What a I don't know, man. It felt so empty. Everybody was fabricating. The news of the week was Logan Paul versus Connor, and now today you haven't been on X, but apparently now Connor wants KSI, brother. 2025, we moved past Connor. We get into real fighters. How about that?
Let's get into the real fights. And then kicking off the UFC year, we have a women's bout. Main eventing UFC Vegas 101, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. They're running it back. The rematch from 2019. We'll get into all that.
It'll be exciting.
Are you ready?
Let's
Do
go.
this. Let's do this. Kicking off the card, we have Narulo Alliev up against Joe Solecki, who is coming in on short notice due to Yamal Almouche pulling out of the fight for unknown reasons. Alliev is 9-0 and is 5-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Rafael Alves via majority decision, whereas Solecki is 13-5-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Grant Dawson via unanimous decision. Looking at the odds here, Nuro Alliev is the favorite at a minus 540, whereas Joe Solecki is the underdog at a plus 408. When you look at Narulo, he's known for his aggressive approach, particularly in his grappling, where he has shown proficiency in controlling opponents on the ground. But he hasn't fought in about 19 months. He's had a bit of a layoff. So the question remains, how's he going to look, right? Is there going to be, there's always that question, is there going to be that octagon ring rust? Is there going to be a bit of a hesitancy? Or is he going to look completely fresh, completely new? So we'll see. Whereas Solecki, he also has 8 of his 9 stoppage victories coming by submission. He's no scrub on the ground. He can adapt to different styles, but he does struggle finding the pace. And I think for this fight, I'm going to go with Narulo Alliev, but he can't underestimate Solecki's grappling. Although I think he can control him on the ground, I think he'll set the pace by utilizing the striking edge he has in this fight, and will set up his takedowns well, utilizing his jab, his combinations, and find nice entry points to win. What do you think?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Naruto, but the reality is you have two specialties, two guys that specialize in grappling, right? And this is where it's gonna come down to who's gonna be the better striker, who's gonna land the more power, who's gonna be a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look just based off their records, you got an undefeated rising contender. Going this would be his his second fight in the UFC. He had a
Mm-hmm.
majority decision against Rafael Alvarez, so there was probably one judge that gave it to Alves.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Joe, he's three losses out of his last 5 fights. I don't know, man. You got Joe Solecki with the experience advantage, but then you got this undefeated cat that hasn't, there's something about smelling that loss, and I'm gonna go with Nerulio. Simple as that. I think he gets it done.
Yeah. I think we're both going to go with Narulo. I think my confidence level is going to be at a medium for
Yeah.
this one. As always, we do our video, we drop our picks, and then later on in the week, we drop our bets. One of the things we're going to incorporate this year is we're going to do our $100 challenge. So at the end of
Yes.
the week, we're going to post our bets. The best bets that we find that we make utilizing that $100, and then we'll see how our ROI is at the end of the card, at the end of the month. Are we winning? Are we losing? It's a bit of fun, a bit of more accountability for ourselves. That's separate from our other bets. If we want to go DGen, we're going to go DGen with other money, but that $100 challenge is going to be strictly for the channel for you guys to see. And of course, if we win on these side bets, we'll share those as well. But we'll move on here to a women's strawweight bout. Victoria Dudakova up against Fatima Kline, who is a favorite at a minus 900. That's crazy. That's wild. But Dudakova is 8-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Sam Hughes via split decision. Kline is 6-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Jasmine Jasudavicius via unanimous decision. Who are you going with in this fight, man?
I mean, I just feel Jasmine has been so fighting for so long. That name is just like, I don't know. It's just been interesting. She always pops up with all these other girls. I mean, look, is the minus 900 warranted for Kline? I don't know. You know the reality is Kline's coming up with a big grappling advantage, whereas Victoria has the striking advantage here. So I don't know. Can Fatima control this other girl? What is the size says? I mean, she's probably going to control the champ. Minus 900, great. I would stay away. Like if you're betting for Fatima, I would stay away from parlays for this one. It's just, man, it'll just drop your parlay down. Like it will. Well, you bet 3 fights and it'll make it a little bit better. No, just go enjoy the fight. Go with Kline. The thing is, sometimes with women, and you know this, champ, these odds look horrendous. However, she does have a chance to come in on Saturday and show me I'm wrong. But there might be a chance. I am going with Kline, but not at a minus 900.
Yeah, and then when you look at Dudakova, she does have some competence when it comes to the striking. She does have 2 knockdowns in her career. She's known for being kind of aggressive with her style and kind of utilizing her combinations. She's also competent on the ground. She's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I don't know if she's a black belt. I know she practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I look at Kline. Kline is the far better wrestler. And I want to see how her takedown defense looks and how her striking looks against Dudakova. They both have issues up against. They both have the weakness where they haven't fought a high level of competition. You know, Dudakova has struggled against top tier UFC fighters, and then Kline again has not fought any. She only has 1 fight under her belt in the UFC, so she hasn't fought a caliber of a wide array of women fighters in the UFC. So it's going to be interesting to see what her game plan is, how she's going to deal with the striking, how she's going to deal with the takedown defense, and how she's going to be on the ground if she does get taken down. But I do have her winning this fight at a minus 900. Like you said, I don't know. It's going to be low for myself. I'm going to look at a lot of those prop bets to see
and I'll say something very quickly. I think it's warranted that they're looking at Dudakova and they're saying, well, you know what? She started the first round of her last fight with a different pace she ended, right? Versus this other girl has a very good cardio pace. So they're estimating control, cardio versus this girl can't keep the consistent pace. But maybe she fixed that. We're gonna know. We're gonna find out this Saturday.
All right, so we're both gonna ride with Kline, not agreeing with the minus 900, but we're gonna ride with her and see what happens. Next up, we have a men's lightweight bout: Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, excuse me for that, versus Bruno Lopes. Magomed is 9-0 and is 5-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Bretson Rivero via majority decision, whereas Lopes is 13-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Mikhail Zashinani via KO. I think it's very simple. This fight comes down to who will have the upper hand in managing the pace. Does Lopes keep the fight standing and avoid being taken down by Magomed? Or does Magomed take him down and beat him via control and domination? I think it's going to be the latter. I think Magomed's going to control him. He's going to secure some takedowns, and he's going to win him via that route. What do you think, man? Who are you going with?
I think Magomed takes it in this one. I mean, look, the guy has very strong wrestling. Striking is solid as well. So, you know, he has very good striking. The other cat, he is good. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, oftentimes when guys are close to the gap, I favor the undefeated streak for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just when you haven't tasted a loss. That being said, there's only 1 loss. This Bruno could come in and surprise us. But let's see how he does. I mean, his last win is against Mikhail in the Contender Series. You know, this is his first fight in the UFC in a way. Magomed is his second fight. So, I mean, it's basically even. So we'll see. I mean, maybe the jitters get to Lopes. But I think Magomed confidently takes this. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a medium for Magomed. There's a minimum Magomed. I'm gonna give it a
Yeah,
medium.
and with Magomed, given his last fight, a lot of people question and were showing concerns with his uh, sense of urgency and dictating the pace. He was kind of comfortable in his last fight where he was. He didn't push forward. He didn't apply the pressure. But I'm interested to see how he answers those questions in regards to the sense of urgency and dictating the pace. Lopes does have poor takedown defense, as does Magomed. Their takedown defense isn't the best, but I think Magomed's going to come in with the game plan to push the pace, maintain forward pressure and secure takedowns and control them that way. So I'm going to go with Magomed. I think he takes this one.
Same. I'll go medium, but the same thing. I think, and also his opponent Brenton Ribeiro, he did win that cat that was coming from heavyweights. He dropped. It was a very weird and close fight. They really didn't want to exchange, but with the Magomed stuff, it was a close fight. But Ribeiro is such a puzzle. He's so awkward in his style, so freakish. So it was a more difficult opponent. I think now he gets more. I don't want to call it predictable, but I want to say less orthodox fighter. So I want to say, that's why I'm giving it a medium versus a low.
Yo, listen, this is how I know I've been rusty. I haven't been changing the slides. We were still on the first fight, so I apologize. I'll get better, guys. I'm sorry. I got a little bit of octagon rust, man. What's going on? Next up, we have a women's flyweight bout. We have Ernesta Careckaite versus Nicole Cailiari. Again, if I butcher these names, I apologize. LAUSD educational system, bro. Don't hate me. Ernesta is 5-1-1 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Dion Barbosa via unanimous decision. Nicole Cailiari is 8-2-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Corinne Laframboise via submission. Now, I think this fight is let me see this here. Cailiari, an interesting note that she's moving up from flyweight to strawweight for this fight, so that might affect her cardio, might affect her speed, which could be critical, considering that when you make a weight jump, that's something always to consider. But I think Ernesta will look to dictate the pace, maybe utilize her takedown defense, snuff a few takedown attempts, and outstrike Nicole. I think this fight comes down to the striking. Ernesta is an accurate striker. She throws with nice volume and is very durable. She is strong in her striking. Where she is strong in her striking, she lacks in her takedown defense. But I don't see Cailiari securing too many takedowns. She has a good grappling base, and she has some submission victories. But it's going to be a matter of, does she withstand Ernesta's striking volume and her accuracy and her power? Is she able to take those punches, and is she going to be able to secure takedowns? I think if Ernesta utilizes the reach, maintains the pace, keeps her at distance, and snuffs a few takedowns, she's going to get away with a split decision win. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the minus 275. I like Ernesta, and the fact is, she's going to be the rangy fighter, and Ernesta has good length with her punches. Like, he knows how to control the distance. That's going to be very important. I don't think Cailiari is a grappling. I think she's also, her strengths also rely on striking, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, we don't have like this proficient jiu-jitsu artist that's going to come in and take her down, right? I think that's going into this fight. I think that was the main thing. If Nicole starts, like, Nicole's going to have to Mike Tyson her way into Ernesta if she wants to win this fight. She's going to have to use a lot of calf kicks. She's going to have to mix it up with the grappling. I think Ernesta gets it done. She's going to snipe her out. I don't think it's going to be a knockdown, but I think she's going to struggle. You know, the reach is 71 versus 62. That's very significant.
And that's one of the things that you mentioned is the height advantage, right? We're looking at a 6-inch height advantage for Ernesta, and a striker, I'm thinking she's going to utilize the range, maintain her distance, set up the jab, and kind of piece her up that way, move in and out. So it all depends if Nicole is able to secure some takedowns early on. We've seen it in the past, right, where some of these grapplers like to go in and apply the pressure to these strikers and take away their strengths. But we'll see. Is she going to be that type of fighter? Who knows? But I think Ernesta gets it done.
I have to go check very quickly. Yeah, the odds minus 270. Like I just kind of the updated odds. I wanted to kind of go check them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I like out of all the four cards we called, I like all the favorites. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
this year we're playing with fire because we're doing the $100 challenge. There are a couple different fighters there that would be worth throwing a little bit of money towards a parlay, but that's going to be a very low, right? So even right now, if we were to parlay, let's say for example Narulo, um, Ernesta, we get Fatima, we get Fatima. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Fatima doesn't drop the scale that much. We put $5 and we don't make nothing, champ. We make $3.
Yeah, but yeah, there's certain fights that I mean, with this new challenge, we're not going to go out there and put all these crazy parlays. We're going to make smart bets.
Yeah.
So a lot of these fights, regardless whether we're picking them or not, the bets are going to be very different. I could be picking like I always mention, I could be picking Ernesta to win, but the bet's going to be it's going to go to the decision, right? It's going to go over that 1.5. So kind of got to look at those odds and make some parlays off that, because going off the straight picks and doing these 4-leg parlays, it's always dangerous. How many times did we have it last year where we had a parlay and then one leg cost us thousands, right?
Yeah. Oh. And if it's $5, I think it's justified. If you're putting a little bit of I think $5 is good, but it's just when you start to go degen, you go $20, $30, $50.
All we do is go degen, brother. What do you mean start to go degen? We always go degen.
Brother, ain't going degen.
My boy
you go
says
degen on the whole card.
My boy says $5, but he really means 500. He's lying to you guys. They call listen. Tell the people why they call you the floor price guy.
Listen,
Why they call him the floor price guy? They call him the floor price guy because he looks for the best deals. He looks for the best bets at a premium. Go ahead, man.
I like the floors, but there was a card. Listen, I'm fucking dead. There was a Bigfoot Silva card and Frank Mir card in Brazil, and you want to talk about degen? That was the only card that all the underdogs won. 12 underdogs won.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whoever cashed that in, baby, we rich, baby.
I got a funny story about parlays, man. The UFC, I think it was 307. Was that Pereira and Roundtree? 307?
Yeah. That was 307, yeah.
It was 307. UFC 307. I had a parlay. It was I had a couple of parlays, but one of the parlays I had Raquel Pennington in that parlay. And if that parlay would have hit, your boy would have made close to 5 G's. But you know what? The judges robbed her. It's okay. I don't get petty. I don't take it personal. We'll move on.
I remember that, actually.
And I went 10 of 11 for that fight card, I think, right?
That's why, because I picked Pena.
Yeah. Listen, if you're watching this and you made it this far, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, follow us on X, show some love. We are steadily growing that account. We are at 1,300, and we started in September. So in a 3-month span, we grew that account from 0 to 1,300, and this year we're going to go for more. We're going to continuously grow this account and grow this community. A lot of people like our fight analysis immediately after the fights are over. We do a immediate fight analysis in which give you a round by round breakdown with the live odds changing as to why the fight ended, how the fight ended, and what the outcome was. And a lot of people like that. We get a lot of likes on that. We get a lot of follows. Each fight card, we get a lot of follows. So I'm excited to continue doing that this year, and make sure you show some love. Next up, we have Preston Parsons up against Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith is filling in for Andres Gustafsson, who pulled out earlier this week. Smith is 9-0 and is 5-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Christian Savoy via KO. Whereas Parsons is 11-5-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Obon Elliott via unanimous decision. If you look at this fight, it's experience versus somebody coming off the Contender Series, I believe, right? It's experience versus somebody coming off the Contender Series, and you substitute one grappler for another, and I honestly think that Jacoby Smith can be the better grappler in comparison to Gustafsson. So you look at Smith; he has a wrestling pedigree. It's his biggest asset. He has 6 finishes in his first 8 fights. He shows he can end fights early, whether it's by knockout or submission. He's young. He's athletic. He's in his athletic prime when you look at the age range. And I think his ceiling is pretty high. He has the endurance, the physicality, and the only question is he hasn't fought tough competition. So how is he going to look coming in on short notice? How is he going to look fighting up, matched up against Parsons? Parsons, like we mentioned, is the more seasoned fighter. He has a strong grappling game with multiple submission victories, indicating he can compete with Smith on the ground if needed. He's resilient. He can take a punch. He can go the distance. He's not easily finished. One of his weaknesses, though, is he has lost 3 of his last 5 fights. So how's his confidence going to be coming off a loss against Alliev via unanimous decision? He's going to be jaded. Is he on the back end? Is he a journeyman? Or, where's his mind at? And his takedown defense isn't the best. Against a wrestler like Smith, Parsons' takedown defense will be tested. So we'll see how it goes. My pick is going to be Smith. I think he's the better wrestler, and his forward pressure and pursuit of takedown might give him the edge. Preston, however, can hold his own, so we'll see what happens. But the question lies, does Preston stop the takedown attempts, and is he going to be controlled on the ground? Those are my 2 questions, but I think Jacoby Smith is going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the dot, right? Yeah. Jacoby Smith, I think, takes it. The odds have him. They're not presented there, but Jacoby Smith at a minus 550. Parsons plus 390. I know Parsons has gotten knocked down a couple different times. The inconsistency of his record, 3-5. If you look at his losses, like they're recognizable fighters. I'd be more concerned if they weren't. I will side with Smith. But here's the one thing, right? Like, this is a short replacement fight for Smith. Smith is stepping up. Andreas Gustafsson should have fought. So the question is, like, how much time did he have to prepare? How's his conditioning?
You stay ready, so you don't gotta get ready, brother. You ever hear that quote?
Yeah. And 3 months, and I think he takes it, man. He's from, American Kickboxing Academy. This guy is always training. He's up and coming, new talented. Mm-hmm. I'll go with Smith. I'll go with Smith. I think like I said before, I'm liking all the favorites. So far, we haven't agreed because they're strong favorites every time we favor somebody. So,
and coming on short notice can go one of 2 ways. You either look really bad and you get starched, or you look really good. We've seen it last year with Smotherman. Remember when Smotherman came in on very short notice and he looked great, right? He came off of the Dana White Contender Series. It was his debut in the UFC. He came in like on a 5-day notice, and he freaking beat this guy via unanimous decision. And that guy got cut. I forgot his name. He got cut out of the UFC, right?
The England dude. It's from England. The guy got he got cut.
Yeah, he was from England, right? He hit him with a couple low blows, I think an eye poke, and then he got cut after that. So it depends. Some of these young cats coming out of the Dana White Contender Series, they come in hungry, man. So we'll see. But I think Jacoby Smith does take it. I think he's gonna take him down. He's the better grappler. He's gonna beat him. I think I'm gonna go for a medium here.
I'll go low. I just the short notice has me pondering. What if?
You scared? You scared? Scared money don't make money, baby.
No, bro. But I've been watching Marvel.
The whole 100 on him. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
We're making peanuts, baby. What are we making? You put 100 on that boy, you're probably making $6.
No, don't do it. All right, we'll move on here. We'll move on. We got a men's lightweight bout. We got Thiago Moises up against Trey Ogden. Moises is the favorite at a minus 195, whereas Ogden is the underdog at a plus 160. Moises 18-8-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Ludovic Kline via unanimous decision. Ogden is 18-6-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Loic Razabov via unanimous decision. Who do you got in this fight, man? Break it down.
It has to be Moises. I'll be honest with you. Just I don't know what happened in his last fight. He lost. But, he's faced top caliber fighter. I mean, the reality is if he loses this fight, he's close to getting cut from the UFC. This would be Trey's first fight of a fighter that fought the top 15. And I'm basing it on that, right? I mean, you got a fighter here that's proficient at jiu-jitsu. His striking has gotten better, right? But Trey's no joke, right? Trey also, the reach advantage goes to Trey, but just by a little bit, high speed. Um, the reality is, if Moises comes in and starts grappling and starts to use his jiu-jitsu as intended, he wins the fight. Can he get him down? He gets the lockdown. If he starts to play this game of striking and he doesn't want to go down, he wants to be a K1. I don't know, man. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah. And you look at Moises, he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has a significant number of wins coming by submission. His ground game is amongst the best in the division. He has a high submission rate. He isn't very consistent, though, and he has poor striking defense. When you look at Ogden, he's also competent and strong grappling. He has a strong grappling background. Most of his wins come by via submission. His control on the ground and defensive grappling are notable. He's also has good endurance. He's very known for having good cardio and can be crucial in fights that go the distance, right? Cardio is one of the best attributes you could have, right? Especially if the fight goes the 3 rounds or the 5 rounds. Cardio is one of the best things you could have. And you look at his record, every time he loses, he bounces back from a loss. So he has fixed the issues that he's had within his losses, right? And I think in this fight, you got two people who are competent on the ground. They secure submissions. I think despite his weak striking ability, I think if Trey Ogden moves around and keeps the fight standing, he has a nice jab. I think he's the better striker in comparison to Moises. And he avoids some of the takedown attempts. He can find positions in which he has the advantage over Moises. And I think if the fight does go to the ground, he's not going to be controlled. He's going to fight off his back. He's going to be able to find positions of advantage, and he's going to be able to secure some points. I'm going to go with the dog here. I think Trey Ogden can utilize his takedowns against Moises, because Moises doesn't have the best takedown defense. I think he's going to secure takedowns. He's going to utilize his jab, find nice entry points and, beat him that way. So I'm going to go with Trey Ogden in this one. I'm going to go with the dog. It's going to be a low.
Moises then.
All right, let's go. Let's move along here. I'm going with the dog. Next up, we have one of my favorite fighters. And the only reason I like him is because I like to say his name. We have Marco Tulio up against, who Marco Tulio is dating?
Who?
That's Norma Dumont's boyfriend.
Oh, really?
That's Norma Dumont's man. So we're going to see her at the
He's
Apex.
going to win. He's going to win.
He's going to win. So we have Marco Tulio up against Ihor Potieria. Potieria. One of my favorite names to say, Potieria. Tulio is 12-1-0 and is 5-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Matthew Dukos via KO TKO. This is his UFC debut, by the way. Potieria is 21-7-0 and is 1-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Cesar Almeida via unanimous decision. If you remember that fight, there was a couple eye pokes. A couple of shenanigans going on in the octagon, but we won't talk about it. Potieria has the experience. He has more UFC fights under his belt. He has the advantage when it comes to fighting UFC caliber opponents, and he's shown that he can be versatile. He's a very good striker. He can win by striking and grappling. He has knockdowns and submissions on his record. And he has demonstrated that he has good cardio, right? He has the endurance. He's able to maintain a pace. He's been on a kind of a tough skid, and he's going up against somebody who's very aggressive in his style, right? He likes to apply forward pressure. He can overwhelm his opponents. He pushes forward. He lands heavy shots, and he has a knack for finishing his fights. I think I'm going to give it to Marco Tulio. One, he's the better striker. He has more power, and I think he's going to look to overwhelm Potieria, put the pace, put some pressure. And my only advice and my only thing that I like to see from him is that he can't unload too quick. Some of these UFC debutants, they like to come out hot, and then they misjudge the longevity of the fight, right? Like they come out hot, and how do they look in the second round? They look jaded. They don't look like the same person. So I want to see him kind of pace himself, apply pressure consistently through the fight, and get the job done. So I'm gonna go with Marco Tulio.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'm gonna go with Tulio as well. I mean, strong striker. Almeida, Cesar Almeida is fighting in this card.
Yep.
We'll go a couple of cards up, a couple of fights up to kind of see. But yeah, I mean, it was weird shenanigans. The issue is Potieria is riding a 4-5 losing streak. That's not good. When you're facing that, it's not good. but it just shows you that the UFC looked at his record and said, you know what, let's give this kid one more chance. Let's give him the Brazilian up and coming at a minus 530. I mean, oh man, I will side with Marco Tulio, but it's a low. It's similar to the fight we saw, the Turkish guy versus the Brazilian guy.
Ibo Aslam, right?
Yeah.
I think he's fighting on 311, or I think he's fighting soon. I saw a fight announcement.
He's fighting the Hulk, the madman. But yeah, going back into this, man, like a minus 530. The only reason why is because this guy has lost four of his last fight. He couldn't really control Almeida. That being said, there was a lot of eye pokes, a lot of groin shots. There should have been a couple of deductions. There weren't. That was in the same fight card as Pereira. But yeah, I'm gonna side with Marco Tulio. I mean, to think that this man hasn't been preparing, right? This man's been preparing. He knows what he's getting into, right? So let's go with Marco. Hello.
Yeah, and then look at the losing skid that Potieria has, right? You got to think that if he loses one more, maybe another one, he's gonna have to call it quits, right? So, and not quits in fighting in general. I mean, the UFC. I mean, he's still young. He's 28 years old, I think. That what it says, 28.
Yeah, 28, but like it doesn't look good, brother. When
yeah, can't have those losing skids. So
my boy rocking almost a Tony Ferguson record. What's going on? And I love Tony. Should respect for Tony.
We'll see. This is going to be a good test for Marco Tulio. This is his debut, so you got to be a little cautious when you're looking at these debutants, right? When they're fighting, sometimes these records that are on the regional circuit, they can wow you, like, oh, this guy's 12-1. Wow, he's fucking great, right? What did we see happen at a UFC 308? Remember that Brazilian guy, Sequeira? Everyone was so freaking amazed that he was 12-0 coming in, and what happened? He got knocked out within the first 30 seconds. So don't always fall into that trap. We'll move on here.
Finished.
We got a men's flyweight bout. We have Jose Johnson up against Felipe Bunes. How would you say that? Bunes?
Bunes.
Or Bunes?
Bunes, Brazilian, right? Where's he from?
Yeah,
Bunes.
Oh, Bunes. Johnson is 16-9-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Asu Amabaya via unanimous decision. Bunes is 13-7-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing via KO to Joshua Van. Who do you got in this fight, man? I want to hear your side.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reach advantage, and it's just more height than it is reach, which is good, right? Because height is also lengthy with the reach. You got Johnson that has good striking. Like he's gonna look to use his range in this fight. Yeah, I mean, this was a tough one. I mean, can Bunes use his grappling? Can we look at the fight against Van and say, okay, well, first and foremost, is Jose Joseph better than Van? I don't think so. This is an interesting fight. I'll tell you that right now. What's his last loss? Let me calculate. Azu's no joke. I think, oh man, I don't want to say this and then be wrong. I've been trying to, be good this year. What do you think Johnson struggles with the takedown?
I think Johnson, you mentioned he does have the height advantage, but he doesn't necessarily always utilize it, right? With his striking. He's one of those fighters that's tall. He doesn't maintain the distance. He likes to get in the pocket. So that's one of the things that's weird about him. I think he does have a wrestling background, which provides him with solid takedown capabilities and control on the ground. He can have an advantage in the grappling exchanges. So I think Bunes, he has the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is dangerous on the ground. He has 8 submission victories. His grappling is going to be the key to this fight. So I think, yeah, he's 0-1 in the UFC. I think he's going to look to get in the W column. I think he's going to be able to take down Johnson and secure some points via that route. And he's going to be dangerous on the ground. I think that's the key to this whole fight, is secure the takedowns for Bunes. I don't think he's going to exchange too many striking exchanges with Johnson.
This has me so puzzled because I know Van pieced him up, and you know, when you look at the caliber she's fought, like he still is. I mean, at least Josie's won a UFC fight. I'm looking
He's
at
a former
Juicy there.
champ in LFA, man. Felipe, Bruno's a former champ. I mean, Felipe. Sorry.
Yeah, but he has a tendency of not striking defense. I don't like it. That's the only thing that I don't like. Um, Man, this is a hard one. What is it? Close to even actually. Let me check Bodog because I want to see. Uh, I would stay away from this fight personally for me. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm staying a little bit away from this fight. I'm actually a little bit scared. Um, well, they don't have it. They don't have the fight yet. Okay. Um, so I got to pick. I'll go contrary as you. I think Chad takes it. Um, Hopefully he could defend the takedown. If not, it's going to be a long night for him.
It's gonna be long, bruv. It's gonna be long, bruv. But yeah, I'll probably stay away from this one too. I
Jose.
think Felipe does get it done though. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll go opposite Jose.
We'll move on here. We have a men's welterweight bout. We have Punahele Soriano versus Uros Medic. Soriano is 10-4-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Miguel Baeza via unanimous decision. Medic is 10-2-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Tim Means via KO. Medic is noted for his precision striking, particularly his ability to land significant blows. He has a high KO TKO rate, showcasing his power. He is somewhat known for his striking. He does have solid grappling skills, including submissions. And he's also adaptable. He has competed in multiple weight classes. He's shown he can adjust to different opponents and scenarios. But then you look at Soriano, he has significant power in his strikes with several knockdowns on his record. His performance against Baeza highlighted his striking volume and effectiveness. He also has a wrestling background. He can use takedowns to control fights, particularly when he's looking to set up his ground and pound or submission. And he's resilient, right? He isn't always the most consistent, though, and although he's a good grappler, his takedown defense has been tested in the past. He is vulnerable to being taken down. I think if you look at these two fighters, I think Uros Medic is the better fighter of the two. I think he's more well-rounded. He has more tools in his skill set. I think Uros Medic should keep the fight at range and piece up Soriano with his precision and volume striking, moving in and out and securing takedowns if needed. I'm going to go with Uros Medic to win this fight, man.
While this is going on, man, I was hearing you, but I was also thinking about the previous fight. I'm going to change my pick, champ. I'm going to go with Bunes. Sorry.
No, we can't change, brother. It's already locked in.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man.
in.
New rules this year. We're not changing picks now. You can change it.
I was just thinking about the grappling thing. Sorry about that. Like that really hit me hard. Yeah, we'll do it later.
It's the new era, man, of the UFC, man. These fighters, you can't be one dimensional. You got to be well rounded, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why going back into Johnson, Jose, I think he suffers a bit. But let's talk about Soriano. Soriano at one point was an up and coming knockout. He was fucking, if I'm not mistaken, he has good power. Was shredding guys out. Something happened along the way, and it was Roman Kopylovv and Dustin. Submitted him, knocked him out. He got to win. He's a plus 165. He is the heavy hands. You look at Medic's last loss. Last win is Tim Means. That is nothing. Tim Means should have been retired a while ago, champ. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. If Soriano could get him down, but Soriano is a guy that just likes to slug, man. The guy just likes to knock people out, right? And I don't know, champ. It's going to be interesting.
I think that's going to be his downfall. I think he's going to look to slug, and he might get caught with something and get taken down. So that's how I see it.
Who has the better grappling here? I have to go with Medic, right? I've never seen Soriano indicate, try to knock somebody out. So, the question is, can Soriano catch him? Can he put him down? That is what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with that at 150. 170. You know what, champ? I'm gonna go with Soriano. I think Soriano puts him to sleep.
Wow, man, you think he's gonna put him to sleep? You're gonna go with the dog, huh? That is all
I
right.
know, I know. I'm trying to be brave. Will I bet on it? I
I'm
don't
trying to
know.
be brave. I'm
I
trying
was
to be
trying to
brave
be
with this
brave
one.
here,
I
man.
like that.
I,
Trying to be
I, I,
brave. That's what I tell
I,
myself, brother. Try to be brave.
I just remember Soriano used to have good power, and I think he brings that power again. I mean, Medic is no joke, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, he does get fatigued, so you got to. I'll give the first round to Soriano. How about that? I'll give
All
the
right.
first
Let's
round.
see. Let's see. Let's move on here. You're going with Soriano. I'm going with Medic. Next up, we have a featherweight bout. We have Austin Bashi, 13-0, up against Christian Rodriguez. Bashi is 5-5 in their last five bouts, last beating Dorian Ramos via submission. Rodriguez is 11-2-0 and is 4-5 in their last five bouts, last losing to Julian Erosa via submission. Now, Rodriguez has been in the UFC for a while with wins over notable prospects like Raul Rosas Jr., Cameron Saman, and Joshua Kulabau. He also has that controversial win against Isaac Dalgarian, if you remember. A lot of people were upset about that. I don't think he won that fight. I think Isaac won that fight. Um, he can mix it up, the striking and the grappling. His strength, however, is dealing with the his strength is he has good fight IQ, his striking and defensive grappling. You know, prior to his last loss, he was on a winning streak. He was on a 4-fight winning streak, I believe. I think his challenge in this fight is going up against Bashi's ground game. It could pose a threat to him if he can't keep the fight standing or he can't counter effectively on the ground. I think this fight, honestly, I'm gonna give it to Bashi. You get me? Because Bashi, is coming from the Dana White Contender Series. He's also making his debut. He's known for his grappling, and he also has good kicks. So I think he's gonna utilize his kicks, his calf kicks, secure takedowns, control them that way. And this fight, at the end of the day, comes down to cardio and pace. And I think Bashi has the cardio. He has the endurance to push the pace. And I think he's gonna just outdog him. I think he's gonna win. I'm gonna go with Bashi.
Yeah, I'm gonna say with Bashi as well. I think. I mean, there's something about an undefeated prospect, and we always talk. I always say that, but um, yeah, I'm gonna go with the younger fighter. I think he's a little bit more hungry. He's undefeated. There's a lot of factors to this champ. I mean, the other guy is well rounded. Let's not make a mistake about that.
Mhm.
Christian is well rounded, coming from Rufus Sports. Um, has more all around skills, but it's just, bro. I think Bashi's special when it comes to his grappling. So I think he just takes him down, wears him down. Could either submission, TKO, or a decision.
All right. Yeah, we'll move on here. Next up, we have a men's middleweight bout. We have Chris Curtis up against Roman Kopylovv. Curtis is 31-11-0 and is 2-5 in their last five bouts, last losing to Brendan Allen via split decision. Kopylovv on the other end is 13-3-0 and is 4-5 in their last five bouts, last beating Cesar Almeida via split decision. Who do you got, man?
Man, this is a hard one, bro. I'm gonna be 100 with you. Let me look at the bulldog odds first, because plus 210. I'm gonna go with the action man. I think the action man is coming in prepared, coming in, spicy. That Brendan Allen was a split decision. Brendan Allen's no joke. He's pretty good. Um, at the top, he's pretty good as a top 15 fighter. But I think Action Man, he's gonna surprise us. How about that, champ? He's gonna surprise us. I like when he gets into the pocket. Roman's gonna grapple, bro. Roman's gonna do a little bit of everything, man. But I think the Action Man has been training with Sean Strickland. You know, I don't think he's gonna get taken down. I really don't think that's gonna be an issue in this fight. So I'm gonna go with the Action Man, Dirty.
Yeah, I think, Curtis, he utilizes the Philly shell. He hits you with counter strikes. But is he going to be able to mix in some takedowns, or is he going to solely rely on his striking?
Hey, bro. Yeah.
If he solely relies on his striking, I think he's going to be at a disadvantage. I'm going to disagree with you. I think Kopylov is the better striker of the two.
Yeah.
So, he is noted for his striking, especially his kicks. He has had initially a tough start in the UFC, but he has looked good. Since those back-to-back losses, he's bounced back and he's winning four straight. Uh, He's a technical striker. He controls the fight pace and distance. And if you look here, he does have the height advantage. Even though he doesn't have the reach advantage, he does have the height advantage over Curtis. So is Curtis going to be able to get into the pocket? He's going to be able to utilize his striking. We'll see.
I think he makes it dirty. How about that? I think he makes it so dirty, man. That guy just loves to fight dirty.
And then, like you said, is Kopylovv going to be able to take him down?
Yes.
He has poor takedown defense, so I don't see Curtis shooting for takedowns. I don't see Curtis incorporating a ground game in this fight. I think Kopylovv, if he can minimize Curtis's pace, keep the fight at range with his kicks, and not allow Curtis to take him down or get into the pocket, I think he's precise enough, he's technical enough, he's accurate enough, and has the reach to keep this fight at his range and pace. I'm gonna go with Kopylovv to kind of keep him at bay and not allow him in. I'm gonna go with Kopylovv. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Yeah, we agree to disagree. I just think he's gonna make it dirty. I think Curtis has been doing the same game plan as Sean Strickland, and he understands that style is only effective if you don't get taken down. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with my guy. My guy's gonna surprise us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the medium for Kopylovv. Yourself?
Well, low.
All right. There it is. Next up, we have Abdul Razak Alhassan up against Cesar Almeida for a men's middleweight bout. Hassan is 12-6-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last having a no contest to Cody Brundage, where he hit him with an elbow to the back of the head. Almeida is 6-1-0 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Ihor Potieria via unanimous decision. Who do you got in this fight, man?
Man, there was a time where Abdul was such a threat. Like, he would just put guys out, and it was just scary. But it gets close, right? Because Almeida is known for his striking. He's what do you call it? Alex Pereira's training partner. Yeah, I'm gonna side with Almeida. I'm sorry. I think Abdul has one round in the tank, similar to Soriano. Has one good round of power, and after that he fades. And I think Almeida picks it up. It's gonna combine kicks, calf kicks. Yeah, I think Almeida is gonna endure him.
Yeah, and like you said, Alhassan, he does have power. He is explosive, but how's the cardio going to be, right? And his durability. He does gas out as fights progress, and I think Almeida is going to show that he's the better striker as the fight progresses. Like you mentioned, he's a kickboxer. He throws good combinations. He has good footwork. He doesn't have the best takedown defense, and although Alhassan has a judo background, I don't see him incorporating the grappling in his fights. He hasn't really transitioned into the MMA culture and really utilized that to his advantage. So I think Almeida is gonna win. He does have the striking advantage. It's his biggest asset. He's precise. He utilizes good kicks. He maintains the distance, and he has the cardio advantage. I think he's gonna be able to maintain a high output over the course of the fight. And he has demonstrated up against Ihor Porteria, he does have competent grappling defense. I mean, it's not the best, but it's improving. So I think Cesar Almeida, if he avoids being taken down, if Alhassan incorporates a takedown game plan, he needs to defend it well. But like you mentioned, he's the better striker. He has the better cardio. I think he's going to get it done. I'm going to go with Cesar Almeida.
Same. Well,
it's going to be a high. I'm gonna go with the high, man.
Like that? You're giving out like that?
Yeah, I think they're big on Caesar. We'll see.
My boy's imitating Trump, eh? My boy's gonna bullish on buying Canada. We don't talk politics here, but
we don't talk politics, brother.
That's what that
we broke down the election. We broke down the election, but we're not gonna talk politics here. Listen, all you Canadians need to stay out of American affairs, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just kidding, brother. I'm just kidding. Okay. Next up, we have our co-main event. We have Santiago Ponzinibbio up against Charleston Harris. Ponzinibbio is 29-8-0 and is 1-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Muslim Salikov via split decision. Whereas Harris is 19-6-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Chaos Williams via KO. I'm going to stay away from this fight. You have two older guys, 37 years old and 38 years old, slugging it out. I think it can go either way, but I'm going to give the slight advantage to Ponzinibbio. I think he's the better striker. He has a good mix of power and technique, and he has the more experience in big fights, which is going to give him the edge, right? And managing the pace and and dictate this fight. Uh, he's very durable too. He's never been knocked out despite having stoppages in his career, but he's 38 years old, right? Yeah, like I said, it can go either way, but I'm gonna go with Santiago to pull this one out.
I'm gonna go the same way. So I think if you look at, I mean, they're both. I mean, after this, Ponzinibbio needs to retire. 38 years old, fighting at welterweight. There was a time where he was pushing the brakes out of my boys. What do you call it? The current bare knuckle champ, Mike Perry. I remember that.
Yeah.
And Ponzi has fought like killers though. If you look at that lineup, brother, I mean, Muslim is dude. Holland.
Yeah, he's fought Alex Soriano, Kevin Holland. Yep.
Yeah, just been fighting tougher guys. I'm gonna side with my guy. I'm gonna give it to Ponzi, but I really hope that he retires after this fight. That's it. Like, just call it. Get the W. Go home. That's it. He commentates. I think he commentates for the UFC. That's one of the things that the UFC has become very good at the last couple of years, grabbing existing talent and migrating them into broadcasting, similar to Michael Chiesa. So I would want to see a journey like that for him. And if he fights again, I wouldn't want to see him fight a ranked fighter anymore. That's it.
Who would you want to see him fight?
Fight a top 30.
Top 30?
Like, you can't. Yeah, you can't. Though, yeah, it's just. Yeah, when somebody's doing broadcasting already, it's hard.
Yeah, mine's not there, right?
No.
All right. Going into our main event, we have Mackenzie Dern up against Amanda Ribas. Dern is 14-5-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Lupe Godinez via unanimous decision. Ribas is 13-5-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Rose Namajunas via unanimous decision. This is a rematch from 2019. An important note here is this fight is at 115, right? I think Ribas is dropping down in this fight,
No.
or coming up. Let me see.
No, they both fought before, unless she went up and tangled with the girls. I actually didn't research that, really, because she fought Dern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because Dern was fighting at 125 back in the day. Or sorry, you just confused the shit out of me, champ. This is a rematch, first and foremost. Ribas, this is match that took place 5 years ago. But it was more thick Dern versus in shape Dern. I think it was also her first loss. Yeah. It's pretty. It's what it is for me, brother. We're going with Dern.
You're gonna go with Dern, huh? Why?
I just think it's not the same Dern that she faced 5 years ago. You're facing a different fighter. I mean, she's been polishing off. She's been getting better. I mean, I saw her get obliterated in New York against Andrade.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I was correct. She fought at flyweight up against Rose Namajunas at 125.
Really? Was that like a short?
She fought at flyweight against Rose, which she lost because Rose had the weight advantage. I'm assuming, right? But she originally has fought, and when she fought at 115 in strawweight, she beat Luana Pinheiro. She lost to Macy Barber at 115. Yeah. At flyweight, she beat Vivian Araujo. Yeah, so she's fluctuated in weight. But this one is at 115. Their first fight, I can tell you what the weight is. I'm not sure if you checked it, but their first fight was at 115. So they're fighting in the same weight. I knew I wasn't wrong about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is an interesting fight. No, I think Dern takes it, man. I mean, if she composes herself and like I think her striking by this Perillo
Hmm.
probably has push her to evolve if he keeps consistency. You know what it is? Both fighters have shown flashes of greatness, but then they've wilted against other fighters, and that's the UFC. Um, who's gotten better in the last 5 years? That's really the question.
I think that is the main question, and if we wrote this up on X, and one of the things that you got to consider is since their first fight, Dern has worked on her striking. There is considerable interest in whether she has improved enough to mix her stand-up game and her renowned grappling to find effective entry points for takedowns. Her cardio and overall fight strategy have evolved, which could be pivotal in a 5-round fight. But since that fight, she has let's see, I wrote it here. Since that fight, she's been 7-4, with her most recent victory being against Lupi Godinez. And then since their first fight, Amanda Ribas has been 5-4, but she has been fluctuating in those weight classes, right? So I don't really, look into that too much. And to answer your question, like both these fighters, you look at how have they evolved from their first fight, and I think although Dern has incorporated some striking, she has gone a little bit better of her striking. Is she a better striker than Amanda? I don't think so. I think, you know, this fight's going to be a lot like the first one. I think Amanda Ribas is the better striker, and she has good takedown defense and good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right? So if the fight does get down to the ground, I don't think she's going to get dominant. I don't think she's going to get controlled. She's going to fight off her back. She's going to scramble. She's going to be able to bring the fight back up to its feet, or, find positions of advantages, right? I think I'm gonna go with Ribas in this fight. I think she takes it again, man. I'm gonna go contrary to your point here. I
Yeah.
just think that Dern's hasn't evolved that much. Although she is incorporating striking into her game plans, she hasn't evolved that much in that striking capacity up against someone like Amanda Ribas.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out. I think this sets her back if he loses to Rivas.
Hmm.
It will set her back. Um, Anybody that loses here will be set back. I think it is the way it is. But yeah, I think Dern's
And yeah, and like I said, since Ribas lost to Dern, she's been fluctuating in weight. So that's why you kind of see that discrepancy in her record 5-4, because she's going up 125 down to 115. So I think if she wins here, I would hope that she stays at 115. I think she's better at 115. She's a lot lighter. She looks a lot better, faster, crisp. So yeah, I think Ribas takes it, man. I think Ribas does
it's a
take it.
different composition of fighter. I think like if you look at it, it was thick Dern. Thick Dern was kind
No,
of
no, they fought at 115, but you saying she was thicker then?
yeah, she wasn't as fit as she is now. She's because she managed. If you go look at a picture right now and just put body type Mackenzie Dern, they're
Yeah.
different body types, and Mackenzie was had more fat, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the weight distribution of her. So one of the things that happened within that time to now is that she's managed to actually lean up. So now she has abs, she has all these different things. That puts me in a mindset of that she's taking things seriously. And like I said, who's the more evolved fighter? Like I think maybe that was the difference. That was she was the one that popped her cherry, eh? Um,
Well,
that loss,
I think they both were coming in undefeated.
undefeated,
Yeah.
undefeated, and also like I just don't. I think Ribas. I don't know. I got to do a little bit more research on it, but if Ribas has only stayed with her dad and hasn't gone to other camps or different stuff, you have to ask the question: has she plateaued? Because that's why all these fighters are going to different gyms and getting better, getting training. Now we'll find out. It could be wrong, right?
Yeah. And I just think, the 3-inch reach advantage, she might have the edge, right? She's already the better striker, so I think that's gonna, come into play again. But we'll see what happens. We have seen people completely do a 180, right, and come in with a totally different game plan. So we might be surprised by Dern, but as of now, I'm gonna go with Amanda to take this one. So we are on some opposing ends on this card, but it's the way it always goes, right?
Yes, sir.
Right on. There you have it, our full card breakdown, prediction, analysis, opinions. If you follow us on X, you will see our bets later on. We are doing our $100 challenge. So make sure you tap in. Maybe by Thursday or Friday, the latest, we'll have those bets out for you. Make sure you follow us on X. Make sure you show some love. Do not be stingy. And make sure you hit a like and hit a subscribe. Follow us. We have been consistent since we started this. We do our fight analysis. We do our fight reaction, our post-fight reactions, which usually drops on Sunday in the morning or in the evening, depending on our scheduling. But we're here every day engaging on X, YouTube. We are going to get into possibly exploring the idea of going live. I know you mentioned you wanted to go live on YouTube, so we're going to try to sort some dates out where we can go live and kind of talk some fights with some of these people. So we'll see what's up. What's going on, man?
Now we're good, baby. Take her home. Always a pleasure. We'll be calling the bets in a couple days.
Hell yeah, we'll be calling the bets. Make sure you tap in once again, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Love what you love. Do what you do. I'll see y'all later. Peace.